So, huge rabbit hole here, but Israel has always had an insane amount of spies in the U.S. and has been subverting the U.S. ever since they were founded. And that's everything from like they literally stole nuclear weapons from us and built a secret nuclear facility that John F. Kennedy was trying to audit and shut down, by the way. They did that with like some of the most famous like technological leaks of all time, all the way up to like Jonathan Pollard, the Promise software scandal, right up to 9/11. A lot of people don't know that before 9/11, there's this whole document called the Israeli Art Students DEA files. You ever heard about those? So you can find them on the internet if you search like things like DEA files Israeli art students.
Can you look that up, Steve?
You can probably find it. And it's a report written by the DEA. And what was happening is in 2000 and 2001, there is like all these government agencies were reporting. Yeah, all of those are it. And what they were doing is they like at first no one realized what was happening because there was these like people walking into like the DEA office in like whatever in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, "Hi, I'm an art student from Israel representing this university and I would like to sell you some art. Are you interested in looking at any art? Is there anyone I can show this art to?" It's like, why the fuck are you in the DEA's office? Like, or any other government building? Like they were just going to all these government buildings posing as Israeli art students trying to sell art. And as they started to report it up the chain realized that this was happening all across America.
It says Tampa.
Yeah. All across America.
The DEA Tampa has revealed much information relating to these individuals. DEA agents in Tampa District Office questioned the team leader of a group of 9 individuals at length. The team leader stated that he purchases the paintings for $8 to $10 from an individual in Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. What the
That's
fuck?
all a cover story though. That's all just made up bullshit. Okay. And so the thing about this document is it's actually super lengthy and it's really hard to get to the bottom of what it is if you don't read the whole thing. But what it is it's all across America in 2000 and 2001, the Mossad was running a massive surveillance campaign on all of our government buildings. And this was their cover was Israeli art students. And they were using it to gain access to the buildings and then to surveil the buildings, to write down blueprints. A lot of these people were actually ex like Israeli intelligence that had backgrounds in explosive experts, in surveillance technology and wiring, just things that like go into that building. And
were they wiring these paintings and trying to sell them to them?
I don't think so. Okay. No, maybe it's hard to say. Like, we don't know entirely because a lot of them, like once they started to get caught, they would change their stories around a lot. Some of them got stopped and interviewed a lot, but they never really could act on it a whole lot. Oh, WikiSpooks is a whole rabbit hole.
WikiSpooks?
Do you know about WikiSpooks?
No.
Oh, you're going to love it, dude.
Oh
WikiSpooks is Wikipedia for fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists. And it is the coolest resource. And it's linked up just like you would think. The best one to start on is 9/11 WikiSpooks because it's the most like complete. It doesn't have everything. And it's certainly
9/11 Israel did it.
Yeah. So you have to obviously double check everything that's on WikiSpooks thoroughly.
No.
But it is a really fun resource to get you going because it's like nothing's held back. It's all there and it's all linked and it's not all true, but it is actually a really cool, it's just so much fun. But
it's the opposite of Wikipedia, basically. It's
exactly, because Wikipedia is all controlled.
They hold back all the fun stuff, where if you're on WikiSpooks, you're like, hold on, you're going the other direction now. You're like, hold on, you guys are going way too far with this.
You compare the two and you wind up somewhere in the middle. Yeah. But anyways, the Israeli art students is just an obvious example of like massive Mossad spying on the US. And it's like the Mossad has this other unique angle that is kind of hard to talk about because the CIA has to recruit members, right? They have to recruit and then send you out, or at the very best, like you already have this, you've got this tech company and they can approach you and be like, yo, you want to like work together for whatever reason, but you have to have an incentive that'll make a person want to work with the CIA. And then you also have to worry, like if you're going up to this Russian businessman and trying to get him to like work for the CIA, you have to also worry that he's actually going to play you and actually be working for KGB or something like that. There's all these complicated things you have to consider if you're going to run intelligence ops. Mm-hmm. But Mossad has this other angle where they represent the Jewish state and they represent the only hope for the Jewish people, like by sort of the Israeli narrative, right? And so Jews all around the world have this inherent like trained religious incentive to support Israel. And so it's a difficult thing to talk about because it's easy for it to sound like you're saying all Jews are in on some global conspiracy, which is not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying,
Jews.
It's the Jews. what I'm saying is that Jews are inherently incentivized to help Israel out, unless you don't support Israel. And there are lots of Jews that don't support Israel.
There's tons of them who don't
and
support Israel.
Fucking badass guys, you're saving the world. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Stand up for those guys. They need our support. But that's just my bias.
There's a huge difference between people that are Jewish and Netanyahu and his war hawks.
Yeah, Zionists and all that. But all you need to do is find, one of them, like Leslie Wexner, like, Leon Black, like whatever. And so not all Zionists even are Jewish, but they have this pool of Zionists around the world that when the Mossad approaches a Zionist, there is way more incentive for that person to work with Mossad than if CIA was approaching some random person. Right. And because of the nature of Judaism, Judaism is dispersed across countries and cultures. Judaism is not local to a region. It's not local to a country. Right. Judaism is already decentralized. And so the Mossad has this angle that leads to the notice how many people are Jewish, which is that is kind of racist, but there is an angle where you have to consider it because the mafia is all run by Italians for a reason, right? Organized crime has always been organized around blood because blood is the strongest tie that binds. Blood is the number one thing you can trust. And if you're going to run organized crime or an intelligence agency, you damn well better be able to trust everybody because if one guy gets caught and he rats you out, you're fucked. And when someone gets caught, they're very incentivized to rat you out because they could be looking at life in prison or a sweetheart deal where they disappear on an island and they're totally fine. They just have to rat you out. So you need this incentive to keep everyone together. And that's why organized crime has always been organized around races and religions because that's the best you can get. And it works really well. And historically in America, the two most powerful were the mafia, Italian, and the mob, Jewish. And so when you're investigating the Italian mafia and you walk into a business and everyone in there is Italian, is it racist to be okay, this might be a mafia establishment, right? And so in the exact same way, when you're investigating Jeffrey Epstein and you're okay, every single person in this network is Jewish. And he's clearly working with Ehud Barak, the ex-prime minister of Israel. Right. And he's clear, Les Wexner is one of the most influential, globalist Zionist Jews in the world and everything about Jeffrey Epstein's network is Jewish through and through and through and through and through. And that's part of why we know he was Mossad. But then you start to think about, so how did that network get built? And when you research it, for example, if you read Whitney Webb's book, you realize that a lot of times that is actually just, someone approaching someone and being hey, both of our interests are aligned around Israel. Let's work together and found the mega corporation. Or let's work together and found, the Wexner Heritage Foundation or whatever. And that will promote global Judaism and the policies of Israel. But shoehorned into a lot of those things are these other sort of things that look a lot like Mossad operations and tactics, and the mega group is a really good example of one where ostensibly it's just a bunch of very wealthy Jewish billionaires working together to for the betterment of Israel, but all of them are tied to organized crime like Leslie Wexner, Jeffrey Epstein, Lauder family, you name it. And so the Mossad has this weird other angle where they have this cultural, racial, religious angle with which to approach people. And again, remember, they don't necessarily have to approach someone and be hey, we want you to be a spy, or hey, we want you to subvert your country on behalf of Israel. They might just approach someone and be hey, you're Zion, you love Israel, right? We have this project and we could really use your support helping Israel. They don't even have to identify themselves as Mossad.